Ladies and germs, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Pepperjack, and I will be showing you the importance of sports and recreation. More specifically, why should we play every bit as hard as we work? You see some of the athletes here. These are some of my favorite sports pictures that I brought up, and we see these kind of athletes everywhere we go. We see star athletes balling out on the field and the court. We see fearless daredevils flying through the air at high speeds. Some master riders, saddling up on some beasts as big as sports cars. It's exciting stuff. There's no surprise nor secret that we praise these champions for all the great things that we do. And many of us in our younger years typically indulge in these activities ourselves. However, there's one kind of phenomenon that's kind of becoming more and more prevalent, and that's that a lot of us, especially particularly after high school, stop becoming participants in these sports and just become spectators, leaving the thrills and the adventures to the professionals while we sit in a cozy recliner eating cheddar chips by the handful, watching our boys on the big screen. Now, why is this an issue, you ask? Why do we have to do everything that they do? They're the ones getting paid to do it. They're the ones who are the best at it. Why should we sacrifice our free time? Why should we sacrifice, getting hurt, all those things when we have our real lives to do? Well, I'll tell you why. Because we live in what I like to call the modern age, which for the most part is pretty legit. Nowadays, we are really starting to live in the high-tech futuristic world that our ancestors could only imagine. We speak to our friends and family from hundreds of miles away using nothing but a wristwatch, which a couple decades ago was only possible if your name was Captain Kirk. We have machines like this crazy Scorpion Autobot thing that can cut as much timber as 10 lumberjacks in a day. The technology and equipment that we so readily have access to also provides us with the internet, which is a vast library of knowledge where we can basically learn anything with the press of a button, whether it be to make a chef's salad or hide a dead body. I'm not saying you should do that, I'm just saying the info's there. However, this does come with some drawbacks. What are these drawbacks? What would be the problem with living in such an advanced, society? Well, you see, the more we indulge in the fruits of the modern age, the more we tend to neglect the benefits of the older times, I guess you could say. And what this can end up doing is we can end up physically devolving ourselves. Think about it for a second. When's the last time you actually had to go out, chase down your food? When's the last time you had to go and build a shelter with your hands just to brave the elements for the night? When's the last time you had to defend yourself from a predatory animal? And I don't just mean the smelly kid in your bio class, I mean like an actual animal. Probably not too often. As humans, we've done a very good job of making the world as convenient and comfortable as possible because we like convenience, we like comfort, we like being able to kick back and just relax. And the reason that has happened is because our homies around like here, they got really good at that because food and resources were a lot more scarce. They had to conserve their energy in order to survive so that they could use it for the things that they needed to do. However, that's not really the case so much anymore. We have nearly unlimited food resources. Our biggest problem now is using all this energy that we so rapidly consume. And we must realize that we've built a world that isn't necessarily sustainable for, living a long time. It doesn't require us to run. It doesn't require us even really to stand in most cases. Most of the time we can just sit down. Nowadays we can sit down and accomplish all the tasks we really need to do. Which seems like a great thing, but this is the silent killer. Because with this sedentary lifestyles, although not as scary as probably our bigger fears, is actually a very, big killer. According to, I know this one's kind of hard to see, but according to the stats from Lifespan, in America alone, there are over 300,000 annual deaths due to inactivity and poor dietary habits. With over 20% of all deaths in people over 35 being due to a lack of physical activity. As I've said before, for the most part, we don't even need to stand anymore. We can just kind of sit, with the average American sitting more than 11 hours a day, which doesn't even include 8 hours that many of us typically spend sleeping. That's 5 hours out of the day that we're actually like standing and actually doing things, which is less than a quarter of the day. And obviously this is taking a toll, as only 6.5% of Americans actually meet the minimum physical guidelines to do their work, technically, because obviously, many of us can't do that work. So as you can see, living a sedentary lifestyle has very serious consequences for your long-term health, which is why we very much need to go out of our way in order to be more physically active. Now, as we've said, this is about sports and recreation, so I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, why sports though? Why can't we just, increase our physical activity? Why can't we just exercise, hit the gym, go running a little bit more? Very much you can do that. There's no reason that this can't give you the benefits and that you can't do it. However, in terms of long-term health, studies from the American Journal of Sports and Medicine have shown that people who play sports typically stay physically active far longer than those who don't, with those who played sports their whole life being 5 times more likely to continue being physically active into their 70s and 80s. Even those who start in the beginning these sports and activities in the Middle Ages are still over twice as likely as those who don't to remain physically active into their golden years. So yes, it's not to say that if you want to go, if your thing is not necessarily sports, if you like running, exercising, that's not to say that these can't give you the benefits. However, sports are very much so, have consistently proven that it's the one that people enjoy doing and that they stick with, even if the benefits aren't the most noticeable, they still, just from their enjoyment of that activity, will end up continuing to do it. Which brings us to our last point. We should just be a little bit more like Jackson. And today. I know what you're thinking. This is just a way for Jackson to show off all the activities of us. You're absolutely right. There is no point. Look at this. This is tired. Look at that guy right there. I bet you wish you'd see this playing the Xbox a little less. Then maybe you wouldn't have gotten tackled for a loss of 5 by this 5'6" wildebeest. And yeah, overall, so the real message is, even if nothing necessarily comes out of it, go out, shoot some hoops, toss around the old pigskin, fall on your ass every now and then. It's fun. After about like the 7th time, it stops hurting. Yeah. Thank you.